Welcome everyone to my YouTube channel. I'm Pragg. Today, what I'm covering is historic. Javokhir Sindarov strikes again. What Javokhir Sindarov has done at the 2026 FIDE Candidates Tournament is not just remarkable, it is historic. A chess prodigy who qualified to play candidates by winning at the 2025 World Cup held in India. Sindarov, the tournament leader by 1.5 points, faces Praggnanandhaa again. In round 3, Sindarov beat Pragg with the black pieces. Now he has white. A critical round 10 with the World Championship qualification at stake. Let's break it down. Before I begin with the game, let me show you a handshake photo of both the players before the start of the game. So there is no eye contact and both the players are looking at the board. Now, let's begin with the game. Javokhir starts the game with d4, knight f6, c4, e6, knight f3, d5, knight c3, knight b d7. So, it's a Queen's Gambit declined opening. Bishop f4. You can also call it as a 3-knight variation of Queen's Gambit declined and the Barmen variation of Queen's Gambit declined. Usually, white plays its bishop g5, but here Javokhir kept his bishop on f4 square. Bishop b4. Praggnanandhaa immediately pins the knight c3, c into d5. E into d5, e3, knight e4. The knight centralizes immediately, hitting c3, queen c2, g5. The most aggressive move in the position. Pragg immediately attacks the bishop f4 with g-pawn, bishop g3, h5. Not stopping with g5, Pragg pushes h5, threatening h4 to trap bishop g3, bishop d3, h4. The bishop was chased to g3 already, and now h4 advances. Bishop g3 is truly trapped unless white reacts. Bishop into e4. Sindarov sacrifices the bishop for the knight, clarifying the position. D into e4. After d into e4, black has gained space, but the e4 pawn is potential weakness, and king is stuck in the center. Queen e4 check. King f8. Praggnanandhaa's king steps to f8, staying on the king side, avoiding any queen checks and keeping all the pieces active. Bishop e5. Sindarov activates the bishop aggressively, targeting f6 and g7 squares, creating immediate threats. f6. Knight takes g5, a knight sacrifice. Sindarov captures the g5 pawn, opening lines around black's king. The knight invades. Here, you might be thinking that black can capture the knight. But no, that would be a mistake. Let me show you how. See the evaluation bar? The evaluation bar for the black is just completely down. Here, bishop will capture the h8. So, this is not the move. And if you think that this pawn will capture the bishop instead, then also you are wrong. Because if pawn captures bishop, then knight e6 check, forking the king and the queen at the same time, and black will lose its queen. So none of these moves were played. Black played bishop into c3. A key Zwischenzuck before capturing on g5. Pragg plays bishop into c3 with check, b into c3, knight takes e5, d into e5, f into g5. After the exchanges, black has won back the piece and has g5 pawn. But white has the e5 pawn controlling the f squares and the open f file. f4. Sindarov immediately attacks g5 pawn. The position is extremely dynamic. h3. Pragg advances the h pawn to h3, permanently fixing it in white's position. The h3 pawn is a thorn that will create endgame problems for white. Brilliant long-term thinking. Rook d1, queen e7, g3. Sindarov stops any g5, g4 ideas. G into f4. Sindarov finally castles. After all these complications, the king reaches a safety on the king side. But wait, he castles king side? The king goes to g1, and with an h3 pawn already in this position, a slightly uncomfortable castling position. Rook h6. Pragg activates the rook on h6. It king swings to g6 or f6. Rook into f4 check. King g8. The king steps to g8, perfectly safe. Rook df1. Sindarov doubles rook on the f file. White's advantage. The position is practically equal but extremely complex. Bishop d7. After 22 moves of perfect preparation and calculation, Pragg plays one wrong bishop move, just one, and the game is over. Bishop e6 was the correct square. Keeping everything coordinated and balanced, Bishop d7 weakens f7 and allows Sindarov's rook to invade. This is the cruelty of chess at the candidate level. One lapse after 22 perfect moves and you lose. Rook f7. Sindarov doesn't hesitate. The rook sacrifices itself on f7 immediately. After the bishop moved to d7, f7 was undefended and the rook crashes it. Queen takes rook. Pragg must take the rook. Rook takes queen. King takes rook. Both rooks are traded for the queen. White now has a queen versus black two rooks. A significant material advantage in the resulting position. Queen f4 check. King g7. The king is chased. Queen g5 check. King h7. Queen e7 check. King g8. The queen bounces around, checking the king and winning tempo. Queen takes bishop. The queen captures the bishop d7. Now Sindarov has won a full bishop. Material count. White is up a full exchange and a pawn. The game is essentially decided. After queen takes d7, black's position is a bishop down, king exposed, rooks disconnected. Rook f8. Queen g4 check. King h8. a4. A quiet but devastating move. Sindarov advances a pawn, creating a passed pawn on the queen side. Now white threatens at a5, a6, creating a second front, a5. Pragg stops a5 but fixes the a pawn on a5. Now Sindarov can attack it later. Queen g5. Rook h7, e6. The passed e pawn advances to e6, threatening e7 and promotion. Black must respond. Rook e8. The only try, blocking with the rook. Queen takes a5. Sindarov wins the a pawn. Now white is up a full piece and has the e6 passed pawn. Material and positional dominance combined. d6. Pragg grabs the a5 square, but it's too late. Queen e5 check. King g8. Queen g5 check. Rook g7. Queen f5. Rook g e7. Queen g4 check. King f8. Queen takes h3. Rook takes e6. King f2. Rook 8 e7, Queen h8 check, King f7, g4, Rook e4, Queen h5 check, King g7, Queen g5 check, King f7, King f3, Rook takes a4, h4, Rook a5, Queen h6, Rook a e5, Queen h7 check, King f8. Pragg's inaccuracy under time pressure. The king needed to centralize. King e6 was the best move here. Queen h8 check, King f7, e4. White advances the e-pawn, creating yet another passed pawn. Now Sindarov has pawn on c3, e4, g4 and h4, b5, h5, c5. Another inaccuracy. Rook g5 was better, challenging the h5 pawn directly. After c5, Sindarov ignores it and pushes h6. The h-pawn reaches h6 square, threatening h7 promotion and promotion to the queen. Rook g5, Queen d8, Rook g8, Queen d5, check. The queen check drives the black king further and black resigns. The position is completely hopeless. h7 is unstoppable. e7 threats remain. Black rooks are passive. The king has no shelter. Sindarov wins again. After round 10, Sindarov's position is monumental. Sindarov went into second half of the candidates tournament with a sizable 1.5 point lead over his closest pursuer, and his performance has been stronger than any other player in the candidates. This is the image when Praggnanandhaa resigned the game. And here are the standings of both women and men's section. Sindarov is leading with 2 points, and in the women's section, Grandmaster Vaishali Ramesh Babu from India is leading with half points. Sindarov was also chosen as the player of the day. So, this was all from my side. Take care. Thank you for supporting me. Bye-bye.